Now that you know all of your conversions with fractions, decimals, and percents, you're going to be able to order and compare the fractions, decimals, and percents. So like in our first example here, we have a decimal, 21 hundredths, a fraction, 1/5, and percent, 25%. And we want to put them in order, least to greatest, okay? So if I want to put these in order, least to greatest, well, first I need to change them all to the same thing. And you can change them all to decimals if you would like. You can change them all to fractions if you would like, or you can change them all to percents if you'd like. That's up to you. I like to change mine to percents because percents are probably the easiest ones to be able to compare when you're ordering them least to greatest or greatest to least. So let's change our numbers to percents. Well, a decimal can be changed to a percent. Remember, you can do dp. Decimal to percent goes to the right 2 places. So here's our decimal. We move it 2 places to the right. It ends up here. So our decimal, 0.21, ends up being 21%. All right? Then we can change 1/5 to a percent. Remember, fractions can be changed to percents by changing them to hundredths, because percents are always out of 100. 5 times 20 is 100. 1 times 20 is 20. 20 over 100 is 20%. So 1/5 is equivalent to 20%. And then, of course, 25% is already a percent. So our 3% are 21%, 20%, and 25%. So the least of those, of course, is 20%. So 1/5 is the least because it was the equivalent to 20%. Then 21%, which was our 21 hundredths as a decimal. And then the largest would be our 25%, which was a percent originally, so we'll keep it a percent. So there were our fractions, decimals, and percents in order from least to greatest. So now we'll look at the second example. 32 hundredths, 6 25ths, and 30%. Again, I personally like to change them to percents because percents to me are the easiest ones to be able to put in order. But if you would rather do decimals or fractions, that's up to you. You can change them to that as well. So I'm going to change to a percent again. So 0.32, D to P, decimal to percent, goes 2 places to the right. My decimal ends up there, which would be 32%. 6 25ths, I can easily change 25ths to hundredths since percents are out of 100, because 25 times 4 is 100. 6 times 4 is 24. So that would be equivalent to 24%. And then, of course, my final number was already a percent. It was 30%. So I have 32%, 24%, and 30%. So the least was 24%, which was 6 25ths originally. Then 30%, which was originally 30%, so we'll leave it at 30%. Then 32% is the largest this time, and it was originally 32 hundredths as a decimal, so we'll change it back to the original. So there was our answer, least to greatest. And I'll go ahead and square that one because that was our answer for that one. There you go.